Hello dear followers of this YouTube channel. I wish to welcome you to the lesson of today, and our today's concern focuses on the critical analysis of the novel The Interview, one of the most thrilling novels written by East African novelist Patrick M. Ngugi. The novel was set in Nairobi City. The publisher of this novel is Macmillan Publishers Limited, and the year of publication is 2002. Plot summary. The novel is about a Form 4 leaver called Joe, whose full names are Joe Kimani. Joe is the main character of the story, and he has got a post and he is about to be interviewed. On the day of the interview, he finds to have woken up late. This makes him skip his breakfast. He does each and everything in a hurry to make sure that he arrives at the interview on time. Dear listeners, on the way to the interview, Joe Kimani witnesses an accident in which a mad woman nicknamed as Shosho, this woman can also be pronounced as Shosho, in which, as far as Kiswahili language is concerned, Shosho can mean baby or a grandmother. This woman is knocked by a matatu, which is in Tanzania we can refer matatu as what is famously known as daladala. So an old man, Shosho, is knocked by daladala. Because of his loyalty, Joe Kimani decides to postpone his journey to the interview and saves the woman. He makes sure that the woman is at the hospital for treatment. After that, he goes to the interview while it is too late. Mr. Daniel Kungu, who is the manager of the company, the Elephant Company, dismisses Joe from the interview because of being late. After being dismissed from the interview, Joe Kimani's brother, who is David, finds a job for his young brother, Joseph, or Joe Kimani. He eventually gets a post in the National Library for his younger brother, Joe. Joe Kimani seems to be not interested with such a job. Which job? It is being a librarian, but he eventually accepts it because he is in need of money to fulfill his financial requirements. For instance, he wants to collect his certificates at school, but he didn't clear his debt, and his parents died during the land clash or the land conflict. Therefore, Joe Kimani becomes a librarian. He works at the library, and at the same time he pays a visit to the hospital to get information about Shosho, or an old woman. He is wondering to see that he loves the woman very much, like his grandmother. He keeps on thinking of her every time. When he is at the hospital, Jokimani witnesses another accident. The accident is that an HIV or AIDS victim is committing suicide by jumping off the balcony of the 8th floor. Joe is informed that the person who committed suicide is the pastor. Joe does not believe this. We also see the doctor, who is Dr. Ochieng, tries to educate Joe on how to avoid HIV, using condoms, being faithful, and having HIV blood tests before getting married. People are blinded not to know HIV/AIDS. The author narrates that Jokimani meets with his friend Gladwell. They had not seen each other since the funeral of Gladwell's sister, whom they believed that she died of TB. Something which is not true. The truth is that she died of HIV/AIDS. In chapter 7, things begin to rise. Joe is in the library reading the past newspapers, and he eventually discovers that there is an announcement in the newspaper. The announcement is attached with the Shosho's picture, or the old woman's picture. It seems to have been written about 1 year ago. It announces that the old woman gone missing her home a month ago. It is announced by Johnson K. Njogu. He promises a reward of 100,000 Kenyan shillings to the one who had information about Shosho, his mother. Later on, they discover that Joe is their relative, and as the result, they congratulate him for his loyalty. That is to save Shosho's life despite his poverty. Johnson K. Njogu eventually rewards Jokimani 200,000 and 40,000 Kenyan shillings instead of 100,000 Kenyan shillings, which was announced in the newspaper. Dear listeners, the story ends with Shosho, who has returned home. Joe discovers that he has very rich relatives who are Johnson K. Njogu, his uncle, who is the owner of the elephant companies, a thing that you can't imagine, dear listeners. Daniel Kongo, who dismissed him from the interview, is a cousin of Joy's late father, Bernard Kongo. And the woman he saved, who is Shosho, is his really grandmother. Dear listeners, I wish to lead you with some possible things that can be obtained from this novel. The first possible thing is family disintegration or family separation. Family disintegration refers to the situation in which a family breaks into small parts or pieces and be destroyed. This is much revealed in this novel, whereby Joe's family is disintegrated. The woman whom he is saving is his real grandmother. He also fails to discover that Daniel Kung, who is the manager of City Soap Industries, is the cousin to his late father, Bernard Kung. Daniel Kung also fails to discover that Joy is his relative. That's why he dismisses his relative, who is Jokiman, from the interview. The owner of soap companies, or the elephant companies, is Joe's uncle, but Joe didn't know this before. That is why he was seeking a job to get money for clearing his school debts so as to get certificates. Another possible theme is loyalty and disloyalty. Loyalty is the state of being true and faithful in one's support, while disloyalty is the opposite of being loyal. That is to say, disloyalty is synonymous to dishonesty. In the story, Joe seems to be loyal. For instance, the matatu driver knocks the mad woman and he does not help. He does not help her. But Joe, who was late to the interview, decides to postpone his journey to the interviews and save the woman, Shosho. This is loyalty and kindness. As far as disloyalty is concerned, it is shown by other people, including the matatu driver who knocks the woman without saving her. But also, Gladwell, who is Joe's friend, is not loyal as he discourages John on saying Shosho is mocking Joe by saying he is behaving like Red Cross. Another possible theme is favoritism or nepotism. This refers to the act of favoring people, especially relatives or friends, by giving them jobs, job opportunities, or any advantageous thing. It is revealed in this story when Joe's brother, who is David, finds a librarian post to his young Joe because there is friendship between David and the chief librarian, who is Julius Kimeu. Also, the owner of the elephant companies, who is Johnson K. Njogu, employs his cousin Daniel Kung as the personnel manager simply because they are relatives. Also, having discovered that his Joe is their relative, they reward him Kenyan shillings 2,000 and 40,000. 40,000 instead of Kenyan shillings 100,000, which was announced in a newspaper. Some other possible themes include unit, as how it is shown to people like Joe, who demonstrates unit and kindness by saving the life of the old woman. Also, Johnson Jogu united the family of Bernard Congo by making them stable. Some other possible themes include selfishness, whereby in the novel, the author has shown Gladwell, who is selfish, by discouraging Joe from visiting the old woman to the extent of mocking him that he behaves like the Red Cross. This should be discouraged. Some other possible themes include poverty. Dear listeners, poverty is evident in this novel when the author reveals by citing Joe, who completes his O-level education but fails to clear the school's dues, so the school's debts. That is why he is by hook or by crook seeking a job in order to get money necessary to get money to collect his certificates. Position of women is another possible thing that we get. In this novel, a woman has been portrayed as a family mother, referring to Shosho, or the old woman, whose names are Leah Wacheke. She was the mother of 6 children, including 4 daughters, 4 daughters and 2 sons. Also, a woman is portrayed as a health officer, referring to Dr. Cheng, who works at National General Hospital along with Dr. Cheng, along with Mildred Awiti. Dear listeners, I wish to bring to you the characters who make this novel. The first character is Joseph Kimani, or Joe. He is the main character of the book. He lost his parents due to land crashes and their bodies were not found. Joe Kimani is a very kind boy as he saved the life of an old woman despite being late for the interview. He was dismissed by Daniel Kungu at the interview. He completed secondary school education with some balance of school fees. He is a wise person and quick to action. He represents people who take care of other people's success. Leah Wacheke is another character, also known as Shosho. She is mentally disturbed old lady. She is like this ever since she heard the death of her husband Kibe. She is knocked by Matatu while crossing the road, where she was rescued by Joe, who took her to the hospital. She is the mother of Bernard Kungu and Johnson Kungu, the billionaire and paternal grandmother to Joe. She went mad crazy following the death of her husband Kibe. She lived in a refugee camp to Nakuru. She is a kind old woman because she considered Joe's assistance he made to her. David is another character who is the elder brother to Joe, as well as his brother and the son of Bernard Kungu. He is a kind and loving relative as he cares about Joe to get the job. Gladwell is another character. She is Joe's girlfriend as well as the sister to the late Georgina who died of HIV/AIDS. She is selfish as she becomes happy with the delay of Joe to the interview, making her secure a job. She calls Joe as a Red Cross due to his assistance to the old woman who got an accident and his regular visit to hospital. She represents people who do not care on others' benefit. Daniel Kungu is another character who is a personnel manager of City Industries, where Joe went late for the interview. He is a cousin to Bernard Kungu, who indeed is Joe's late father. He is cruel and strict man because he dismisses Joe's excuse reporting late for the interview without knowing that Joe saved his grandmother. So it represents a group of people who hold top leadership positions but do not consider other people's problems. Some other characters are Johnson Kenjogu, who is the billionaire and the wealthiest man in the city who owns companies. The son of the old lady went to abroad. She owns Elephant group of companies, including the company where Joe went for the interview. He is an educated person who studied in the United States. He is the son of the old mad woman whom Joe saved from the accident and unawares of the blood relationship they had. He is Joe's uncle. Another character is Dr. Cheng. He is a doctor at the National Hospital where the old mad woman was admitted. Dr. Cheng is a kind and loving man as he shown maximum cooperation to save the old woman's life. He counseled Joe on how to keep away from HIV/AIDS by telling its symptoms, causatives, and preventive measures. Dr. Cheng represents people within our society who care people to develop and excel well. Another character is Uncle Jotham, who is the maternal uncle to Joe, David, Lucy, and Mary, or Joe's sister. What can readers learn from this novel? Well, from this novel, readers can learn a lot. This includes hospitality or caring is the source of social harmony. This is evidenced from the novel when Joe takes care of Shusho. But also, being loyal is advantageous than disadvantageous in the novel. Joe's loyalty leads him into achieving his goals, that is, to get money and job opportunity. But also we learn that we should not compare HIV/AIDS with death, since one may live with AIDS until he dies, unlike what the pastor did. That was committing suicide. But also we should be transparent on HIV or AIDS so that people can be aware of infections. For instance, in the novel, people are not transparent. Georgina dies of HIV/AIDS, but people are made to believe that it was tuberculosis. Thank you very much for your attention. Keep remaining here for more lessons. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel for more lessons. Bye.